Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of More Perfect Marketing. It's David Baer here, and today we're going to be talking about content marketing. We talk a lot on the show about copywriting, composing content for sales letters and for email. And a lot of that copywriting that we discuss is really focused on moving people toward a sale. It's all about a structure that is making people, pay attention, express that they're interested in what it is that you have to offer, and then move toward a specific call to action, which is usually buy the thing that we're selling. Well, we're going to talk about a slightly different approach to writing today, and that's content writing. You'll notice there are some similarities with what I just talked about, but there are also some clear differences as well. And joining me in the discussion, all the way from North Central Nigeria, is AbdulGaniy Shehu. Thank you so much for joining me, and welcome.
Well, thank you very much, David, for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here and to talk about content marketing with your listeners.
So you've been working on content for a lot of different businesses here in North America, Canada, US, as well as in the UK. A lot of the work that you have been doing has been in the online world, software as a service, startups, and that sort of thing. Can you talk a little bit sort of about what it means to be a content marketer for somebody who might be new to the terminology?
Of course, so like to be a content marketer, or let me say content marketing generally, is all about like helping your customers or like helping your customers to take a kind of predefined action. So, but in the for content marketing is you need to educate your audience and you need to tell them the next step like that you want them to take. So it is different from copywriting, whereby the goal of copywriting is just to get that sale, like just get someone on your landing page or on your sales page, and you want them to like take an action immediately. So, but with content marketing, that is quite different. So you are kind of spending a lot of time to educate them, to nurture them, and to also like let them know, see the importance of what you are trying to sell to them without being salesy. So like that is generally what content marketing is about.
So this is something that I was reading recently, a book about a very famous copywriter from the 1920s, or that era, named Robert Collier. And he was a proponent of exactly what you've described here, which is the importance of educating the public in advance of he was a sales copywriter, so in advance
Yes.
of bringing them the message about, now that you know all this stuff, it's time to make the decision, here's what to do next. And obviously in the modern era, with the proliferation of online marketing and the access that the public has to get more information, I imagine that businesses and brands want to be in more control of the information that gets in front of somebody, rather than simply relying on, somebody else's YouTube thing or some article that happened to show up, online somewhere. So how does that work in terms of a business's strategic approach to getting content out there?
Yes, so that's like a very good question. So when it comes to content marketing, especially with the proliferation of online marketing and businesses going online and so on, so content marketing is really important to get the word out there about your business. So because a lot of people, if your business is online, like most people won't know that it exists if you don't find a way to let them know that it actually exists. So with content marketing, what you'll be typically doing is to like see how you could create content pieces that will resonate with your target audience. And in most cases these days, what businesses do, they rely on SEO, so search engine optimization, to ensure that people know about them. So whenever anyone is searching for a solution to the like to or to what whenever anyone is searching for a solution to the problem that they have, and their product could potentially solve that problem, so they use SEO. So because let's say for instance someone wants to buy something online, like, and they've never bought something like that before, so what they could typically do, or in most cases, like they'll Google it, they'll go on Google and search for that. So like content marketing with content marketing, like with a holistic content marketing strategy, so you'll be able to capture people that are looking for the solution to their problems.
So, I mean, I think you sort of described, and this is human nature. Any problem that I have, I'm going to go to Google to try to find either a local place that I can buy something, or I'm going to type in, how do I this happened to me actually earlier today. I turned
Yeah.
on my computer. It's a brand new Macintosh with an M2 chip in it, and the thing turned on, and then there was a pink screen, and so I typed into Google, and then the thing shut down. Right, I typed into Google on my phone because my computer was off. Pink screen, Mac, and then I found a whole bunch of articles sort of describing the situation and what to do about it, etc. And some of them I noticed were, obviously discussion boards where people were saying, yeah, this happened to me, but others were articles that were like professionally written. If you encounter a pink screen on your M2 Macintosh, here's what you need to do to resolve the problem. I think everybody calls it the pink screen of death. So, so clearly there's the right nomenclature if you understand the right words. And so
Yes.
I'm assuming that was very intentional about targeting somebody like me to do exactly what you said. I looked something up. I found an article that told me what to do, and if the company, I only solved my problem. I wasn't looking at all the ads or any of the other things that it offered me to do. But if they wanted to then take me to another step, there would have been a potential mechanism to do that as well. Is that what we're talking about?
Exactly. Exactly. And that is what content marketing is all about. So what you just described is SEO, search engine optimization. So what it just means is like you are creating content. It could be an article, it could be a landing page on your website, it could be a tutorial on your website, whereby the goal is to rank on Google. So, and and in the long run, when you rank on Google, you know that people will typically visit your website. So like if you are ranking high on Google, and when they visit your website and of course they find your content valuable, it helps them to solve the problem that they have. And if if your solution is relevant to that specific problem, then you could also pitch that in that you could use our solution to do this. So that is exactly what search engine optimization is all about, which is an integral part of content marketing.
So, as I'm thinking about this, there's a couple of different skills that somebody needs to have in order to be successful at this, right?
Yes,
Obviously, the writing and communicating to engage somebody in the content that's written, and we're talking about written content. Content can exist in other forms,
of
images and
course.
videos, etc. But
Yeah,
so there's the creation of the content itself, but then there's also the understanding of the structure that Google or any other search engine has in order to make sure that that content shows up as high up on the results pages as possible. So here's the question I have, because one of the things I learned about you, the very first sentence of the bio that you sent me, was that you actually have a background in mathematics. And I imagine that there's a certain degree of science and calculation involved in figuring out how to create content that's going to work well in the way that Google wants things to show up. So I'm curious sort of about that background of yours and how you leverage any of it if you do.
Yeah, so like when it comes to SEO, so the way Google typically works is that like there are some rules of engagement, if I put it that way. So like if you are trying to create an SEO content, so the place to start is you need to have a keyword that you are targeting. So like for instance, the example that you mentioned previously. So what that means is that you are telling Google that this page on my website is targeting this keyword. Like I want anyone that is searching for this keyword on Google to find this page on my website relevant. So that is the first step. You need to have a specific keyword that you are targeting. So
Let's
after you
let's talk about what a keyword is, because this is one of the things as a business owner when I first started um talking to marketers before I became a marketing service provider, I didn't really understand the keywords that I should be thinking about. So the example I gave earlier was something about Mac a pink screen. So
yes.
are those collectively the keyword that we're talking about because they wanted to show me something about that, or are we going deeper? I mean, obviously there's certain types of keywords that are going to be beneficial in terms of what we refer to as, you know, buyer intent keywords versus somebody who just might be looking for education or information. So can you go a little deeper into the keyword topic?
Of course. So, like, there are different types of keywords, and that is also determined by the intent of the person searching for that keyword on Google. So, because as I said previously, like, what you are trying to do is you want anyone searching for a specific keyword to land on your website or to land on the page on your website. So, like, um talking about keywords generally, like we have keywords that are kind of informational keywords or top of the funnel keywords. So let's say for instance someone wants to learn about content marketing now. So one of the things that they will probably Google is what is content marketing, okay? Or let's say content marketing best practices, or content marketing mistakes to avoid. Like those are beginner level keywords. Those are introductory keywords. So we call it informational intent keywords or top of the funnel keywords. So we also have middle of the funnel keywords. So these are keywords that show that someone searching for it on Google, like they kind of understand what they want, but they don't really know the solution to what they want. Okay, so like they have an idea, but they are not really sure of what they are looking for. So still, like with the example I gave previously, content marketing. So let's say someone is looking for a content marketing software, like they've heard that there's like they know that content marketing software exists, but they don't really know the one that will work for their business. So one of the things they could probably Google is, let's say, content marketing software or content marketing tools or best content marketing software for a small business. Okay, so that shows there is a higher level of intent. Then we also have what we refer to as bottom of the funnel, or like where someone is kind of considering, like trying to make a purchase, trying to make a decision. So, and these are keywords that show that the person really knows what they are looking for. So, using the example you gave previously with a MacBook. So, if I want to buy a MacBook now, like I already know everything about MacBook, or like I've decided the type of MacBook that I want to buy, then I could go to Google to say, okay, MacBook so model pricing, or MacBook and so model reviews. So like that shows that I already know what I want, but I just want to have a better idea of what the pricing is or what other people are saying about this specific product before I decide to make that purchase decision. Like that is essentially how to categorize the different types of keywords.
So, okay, so that breakdown in terms of where somebody is and what you were describing as, we call it the buyer's journey, but there's other ways of describing in terms of
Yeah.
the level of interest and intent in terms of
Yes.
how close they are to a purchase. Where does the bulk of content marketing tend to be produced? At what point in that funnel? Top of the funnel versus bottom of the funnel? Where does content marketing play the biggest role these days?
Well, I would say most companies still prioritize top of the funnel content. So, and though like it is not something I personally agree with, and it is not something that we do at our agency. So, because the reason why most companies prioritize top of the funnel is actually because it drives more organic traffic. So, people that are in the information and awareness stage, they are usually more than those that are in the consideration stage or those that are about to make a buying decision. So that is why companies prioritize top of the funnel content. And that is kind of like where, to answer your question, where a bulk of keywords in content marketing, that's where it usually comes from.
Okay, so you skipped ahead to what my next question was going to be, because I've read a little bit about your position on this, and you said that you would actually prioritize middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel is the work that you focus on. Can you explain a little bit more about why you take that perspective and what the advantages are based on your approach?
Yes, of course. So, like the major reason why we take that approach is because we've realized, based on our interaction with founders and the marketers that are in our niche, that content marketing is like most people treat content marketing as a traffic acquisition channel. Okay, but we believe that it could potentially be a customer acquisition channel. So, like for most marketers, or let me know, or even companies in some cases, they kind of measure the success of their content marketing program by the number of organic traffic that they are getting to their website, or the number of keywords that their websites or pages are ranking for on Google. So, like when they say that, okay, maybe they are getting about 100,000 organic traffic visitors every month, or they are getting about 1 million organic traffic visitors every month, they conclude that that content marketing program is a success. And we disagree. So because in most cases, the buying intent, as I mentioned, is lower with informational keywords, with top of the funnel keywords, and it is higher with middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel keywords. And if you look at it, what is actually the goal of investing in content marketing? Most likely, you are investing in content marketing to impact your revenue. So why will you focus on vanity metrics like getting more website visitors than what actually move the needle business wise, which is to drive more user signups and paying customers, get more leads? So that is why we figured out that for us, middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel keyword is the way to go. That doesn't mean that we won't target top of the funnel keywords, but that will be after we've exhausted all the middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel keywords.
So, okay, this, by the way, if for our regular listeners, is familiar territory, because what we've just heard is the importance of approaching content strategically, and if the goal is to make sales, well, then focus on the activities that are going to make you sales rather than the focus on the activities that are going to bring you a big number of visitors, or if you're building an email list, a big number of subscribers who will never end up buying, right? Instead, focus on attracting people who have the intent to move forward, to either learn more about what you have to offer, or are already interested in what you have, and they just want to find out, if yours is the right one, or the right price, or the right, match for their specific needs. So I'm curious, one of the big focuses of your agency is working in business to business SaaS startups. And when a business is in a startup phase, right, they're not well known broadly. They may not be well known even narrowly. And so I'm interested in understanding how you utilize the approach that you've just talked about. How is there a middle of a funnel, or certainly a bottom of the funnel, for something that people don't know very well?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, like as you rightly mentioned, we work mostly with B2B SaaS startups at our agency. So the reason why we focus on middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel keywords for them, like one is for what I mentioned previously, which is that those keywords, they have a high buying intent. And as a startup, like you don't have a lot of money to waste, so you have limited resources and you want to get value, you want to get return on investment, so you don't want to burn cash. So for most startups, it even makes sense for them to go after these keywords, because with those keywords you have a potential of growing your MRR, like as you call it, your monthly recurring revenue. So you have a potential of growing your MRR faster than if you target top of the funnel keywords. So another reason why it makes sense for startups to target those keywords is because they are potentially less competitive. So for most top of the funnel keywords, a lot of big brands are already ranking for those keywords on Google. So, and for a startup that doesn't have a high domain authority, that doesn't have a high website authority, so it makes sense for them to go after less competitive keywords. So because since most big brands, they focus on top of the funnel content, then as a startup, to create your own modes, then you should go after middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel keywords. So now, if we now want to talk about how it works in real life, so let's say a startup now, you are an underdog and competing against like companies that have raised funding, and they have been in the industry for close to a decade and more. So like what you could potentially do, is that middle of the funnel and bottom of the gives you the opportunity so to even create content to gain mind share and market share in the industry. So let's say you are a Calendly alternative. So you just built an alternative to Calendly. So, and you are finding it difficult to gain traction. So like you could look for keywords, maybe if like you want me to expand more on this, but you could look for keywords that try to capture people who are probably unhappy with Calendly and looking for an alternative, or you should go after keywords whereby someone is specifically looking for a niche solution. So let's say, for instance, Calendly alternatives. Like if I'm not happy with Calendly, or I'm just looking for alternatives to Calendly, what I would typically Google is Calendly alternatives. So as a startup, that's a potential keyword for you to go after. Or there are some other keyword variations like that, whereby someone is comparing a competitor against another competitor, or comparing a solution against another solution. So like those are potentially how you could use it as a startup to gain mind share and market share in your industry.
I've seen this a lot, particularly in the SaaS world, where a company will have a review or a comparison or something to a known competitor. Or it might be, I've seen this with like email marketing software where
Yes,
I'm making this up, but let's say Get Response has articles about MailChimp. And you look
yes,
at it and you go, why is one competitor, writing a review of the other competitor? Well, obviously, they're going to endorse their product over the other one that the article is about. But clearly it's useful in capturing the attention of the right audience, whether it's, I'm curious. I was going to say, is this ethical? Is this a valid approach? But I guess it's legitimate for any business to point out the factual differences, or the make an argument for, here's what you may find different or better about this option that we have to offer versus the thing that you were originally looking for. And obviously alternative or similar to, or Calendly for yoga studios, or
yes.
is going to be driving somebody in a specific direction for more information about something that they can expand upon. So I'm glad that you gave that as an example, because it's one that I see all the time.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So it's like it's a potential strategy that startups could use. So like the example you gave about the email marketing software. So like if I'm a SaaS startup now, I'm just going into the email marketing industry. So some of those keywords you could target them, and it could be a way for you to gain mind share and market share fast in your industry. So like maybe something like MailChimp alternatives, Get Response alternatives, SendFox alternatives, Active Campaign alternatives. And you could also do a comparison, Active Campaign versus MailChimp, Get Response versus SendFox, and on and on. So like it helps you to capture that audience. And another like advantage of going that route is that it also helps Google to see that your website is authoritative in this niche. So because one of the ranking factors, or one of the things that Google considers when it comes to ranking a website, is how authoritative your website is in that topic that you are talking about. So which is topical authority. So do you have like the authority to discuss about this topic? So it is something that Google cares so much about. So if you could lean on those keywords, so it will help you to broaden your authority in the niche.
Yeah, as you were talking about this company versus that company, one of the things that I see a lot is two companies I've heard of, and then versus a third one, which is the one that is actually hosting the article. And so, and I've never heard of them, and that's
Yes.
a pattern that I've picked up on, and now you've explained it beautifully. So thanks for that introduction. You said Google is looking to see that it's an authoritative site. What I've always thought was important in demonstrating authority is that other sites are referencing back to this site. Is that still important? And if so, how does a startup new platform get that notability to actually have the authority come through in Google's eyes?
Yeah, so what you just mentioned is backlinks. So, and it is very important in Google. So, like the more websites linked to you, the more link juice they are passing to your website, and the more they show Google that your website is something that it should potentially take seriously. So, like backlinks are very important. So, but for new websites, it might be difficult for them to acquire those backlinks earlier on. And that is even why, like, by focusing on less competitive keywords, it makes sense for startups. but there are other strategies that startups could use to acquire backlinks. So one of the ways is to build linkable assets. So to build assets whereby people will be happy to link to it. So like maybe you could build a free tool, you could build a calculator, you could build a template, you could build a resource page, you could build you could like create a statistics post, so you could like conduct original research and on and on. So all these linkable assets, so these are ways that startups could also leverage to get more backlinks for their websites.
And a calculator isn't, but the last example you gave of doing some statistical research that's
Yes.
original,
Yeah.
that absolutely is content marketing, as I would define it. Is that something that you would say, yes, I'm a content marketer and I will do this sort of research and build posts out to create authority for you? Is that what a content marketer also does?
Yes, yes. It's also part of what content marketers do. So like there are some agencies or even some content marketers that specialize in helping you to build original research. So because it is, as I said, it's a linkable asset, it helps you to build backlinks. I wrote an article sometimes ago about how Buffer built thousands of backlinks through there's this report that they publish every year, state of remote work. So they publish it every year, and that report alone, they acquire thousands of backlinks from that report alone. So like that is a niche on its own. There are a lot of content marketers and agencies that delve into helping websites, even startups, to build original research.
And you're practicing what you're preaching, because we're going to share your website in just a moment, but I'm looking through it, and you have articles and case studies where you're doing exactly what you're describing. uh, um, any business can do, and so it's, I think, very instructive to come over to your site and to look through some of the articles that you've written. Why don't you talk briefly about what people will find when they head over to your site, which I should say is at yourcontentmart.co.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at popular articles and case studies. What else will people find when they visit that site?
Well, if you visit our website, you find resources. We have resources that we published aside from the blog posts on our website. So we have a SaaS content marketing playbook for SaaS startups. So, and we also have other resources on the website. And there's also an opportunity for you to book a free content analysis. So whereby we could analyze your website to see like if there are issues that you have and recommend things that you could do to improve your website, like organic traffic, and drive more business results from it as well.
Excellent. And I'm looking at the ebook that you have here on scrappy content marketing tactics, which is great, and featured on Product Hunt. So if you go and download that and read
Yes.
it and love it,
Yeah.
also what do they call it? Upvote it on Product Hunt too. So well, this is awesome.
Yes.
AbdulGaniy, thank you so much for sort of walking us through mapping out how content plays a role here, and some of the inside tips on how to create the right sort of content to capture the attention of the right people, so that you can move people closer to a sales conversion rather than just getting a bunch of people to have their eyeballs on your site to then just go away. So this has been really insightful.
Thank you
Um,
very much.
yeah, and any last tips or things that you want to share before we wrap up?
Well, what I would just have to share is that, like, if you are building a content marketing program for your business or startup, like, what you need to do first and foremost is to like have a specific goal that you want to achieve, and also don't blindly copy your competitors' content strategy. try to find a unique way so that you could create a moat that will be difficult for them to replicate. So like those two things will help you like very well in building a successful content marketing program.
That's excellent advice. And if you happen to be in the SaaS startup world and want AbdulGaniy's expert guidance and assistance on that, head on over to yourcontentmart.co to grab that free content analysis and get some of his insights. I'm sure you will be happy with what he has to show you. So, once again, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you for this.
Indeed. Folks, this has been More Perfect Marketing. There was a lot of really great gems here. If you know somebody who could benefit from listening to the conversation we've just had, please share the episode with them. And until next time, I'm David Baer, and this is More Perfect Marketing. Take care.